to join the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll start the class. Let them join. So last class we are you able to listen? Hmm? Is
Yes,
my
ma'am.
audible? Yes. Okay. Yes, screen is visible. I'll start with the fifth module now. COD numericals I'll give you in the assignment, 1 or 2 assignment. Today I'll post the assignment in the group. You can write the assignment and take your time and submit before IA. Okay? Before IA you can submit. IA will be on 15th. So 14th I'll give you a time, 13th or 14th. That time you can submit together. Okay? Fine. I'll start with the fifth module. Fifth module, you have 2 chapters. First one is instrumentation, and the second one is nanotechnology or nano materials. You have nanomaterial. Can you see the screen? Screen is visible. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first one is instrumentation means. So when you have come for practical classes, you have done 2 experiments, right? Uh, 3 experiments you have done: conductometry, potentiometry, and pH meter, determination of pKa value of weak acid. Correct. So it is analysis using the instrument, doing the test, determination, determining the compound. The same experiments will be the theoretical part we are going to study in this chapter. Okay. What are the instrumentation analysis you are going to study? See, the expected questions here explain the instrumentation, working and applications of every instrument like conductometry, potentiometry, colorimetry, flame photometer, and atomic absorption spectroscopy. 5 instrumentation you have to study. You have to study instrumentation, working, and its applications. Only these things you have to study. The theoretical part, theory and instrumentation. Clear? So first one we will see. First one is calorimeter experiment. Construction, working, and applications of calorimeter experiment. So what is the calorimeter? First I'll show you the instrument. See here, this is color. First one is, this is calorimeter. This is atomic absorption spectrophotometer. This is potentiometer. You have used this potentiometer, right, to determine the potential of the ionic solution. And this instrumentation is flame photometer, and this instrumentation is conductometer. Using this first one, this calorimeter, you are finding or determining the color intensity. How you are going to determine, I'll show you. So it is an analysis means by using the instrument, you are determining the intensity of the color. So usually we have optical analysis by using optical display, like based on observations, optical ray intensities, color intensities, that one you are doing. And the other one is quantitative analysis. First one is qualitative and the next one is quantitative. So both are using instrument. You are determining the experiment, you're determining the compounds. So in the qualitative analysis method, like colorimetry, like different color radiations, intensity of the color, you have only one instrumentation, that comes under, those experiments comes under qualitative analysis. Quantitative analysis is if you are measuring any amount, any grams, what is the percentage it is present, that all based on the quantity, if you are determining, all those experiments comes under quantitative analysis determination. So this chemical method, classical method, and again in the quantitative determination, you have classical method. Classical method is determined using the titration method. This is called as titration analysis. And the next one is instrumental analysis, doing the same titration using instruments. This is how the qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis are classified: electronic method and optical method. And now if you look at the instruments, what are the different instruments we are using? We are using colorimeter, flame photometer, atomic absorption spectroscopy, potentiometer, and conductometer. Colorimeter is used to, first one is colorimeter. It is used to measure the color intensity. Flame photometer is used to measure the intensity of the colored color flame. This flame photometer is used. Atomic absorption spectroscopy is used in the atomic level. Potentiometer is used in the to measure the potential of ionic developed in the ionic solution. Conductometer is used to measure the conductance of the solution, how ions are conducting in the metal ionic solution, that we use this conductometer. So all these in detail we are going to study all these 5 instrumental part and its applications. So first one is colorimeter. Colorimeter works on the principle of, it is a combination of both Beer's law and Lambert's law. The theory behind this is Beer's law and Lambert's law. So they may ask you, write the theory, instrumentation and applications. Theory, if they ask, you have to write this. Or experimentation also, if they ask, you have to write all these explanation. So what is the theory behind? Theory or principle behind the colorimetric experiment? The colorimetric experiment behind principle is, it combines with the Beer's law and Lambert's law. What is Beer's law says? Beer's law says when a monochromatic light, see this is a monochromatic light, passes through a solution. This is the passes through the solution. This is a monochrome, means single colored light. When it passes through the solution, colored solution at a constant path length, it absorbs all the light radiations, the solution. This solution absorbs all the light radiations and directly proportional to the, and how it emerges out light, it is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. Say if it is less concentration, if you prepared less concentration, whatever the light emitted, it will be less intensity. If it concentration, whatever the light emitted will be more concentrated. Okay. So absorbance of the light, Beer's law is absorbance of the light radiation is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. Lambert's law is the same. The monochromatic light absorption of the light radiation is directly proportional to path length of the solution. So here we are not considering Beer's law, we are not considering the length of the cuvette or test tube. But in Lambert's law, we are considering the path length of the sample holder also, along with the concentration. So by combining these two, Beer's law and Lambert's law, the theory behind it explains is absorbance of light. It is directly proportional to or which is equal to E epsilon Ct. Epsilon is the molar absorption constant, C is the concentration, T is the path length. So by using this equation, we will calculate what is the absorbance of the how much the colored solution is absorb the light radiation, monochromatic light radiation. So this is the theory behind colorimetric experiment. If you look at the instrumentation, instrumentation here you can see here, shall I zoom? So here you can see here the instrumentation. This is the light source and this is the collimator. This is monochromator and this is the wavelength and this is the cuvette where we can also call it as sample holder. This is detector and this is the digital display. This is digital display where you are seeing 0.45. So what happens here? Take some prepared series solution in the sample holder. Keep it in the place where place is provided in the instrument. Keep there the sample holder. Once it is kept in the sample holder place, what happens? Behind this sample holder, all this instrumenter works. So from the light source, it emerges light radiations. Collimator, collimator helps all these radiations collect together and helps in passing to a prism, which is a prism, collects all the radiations of different intensities and passes with the same wavelength to the sample holder with the help of a slit. This is the slit where the holes are present. With the help of this slit, it helps the radiations to pass through the sample, that is the cuvette. The cuvette or sample holder contains colored solution. Once this light radiation passes through this colored solution of different concentration, it absorbs the light radiation and measures what is the concentration and what is the intensity of the color developed. And with the help of a detector, it detects the intensity of this colored radiation. And whatever the intensity is detected by the detector, it displays in the digital meter. So this is what is the light source we are using? The source of light we are using here is tungsten lamp. Monochromator what we are using is monochromatic, any monochromator light of different wavelength, and a sample cell to keep a sample holder. Photocell detector, it is used to convert electrical signal to one signal, absorption signal to the display signal. A meter used to measure the absorbance and transmittance. So you can see here, this is a working and instrumentation part of the colorimeter. This is the source, usually tungsten lamp, and this is a prism, how it looks, and this is a cuvette, sample holder, how it looks cuvette, and this is how the displays in the digital photometer or digital colorimeter. So in your experiment, whatever the intensity is developed, you are plotting in the, so you can see the instrument here, right? Exactly same instrument we have here. This is the instrument. Here you can see, I can zoom once again. This much is possible. Okay. This is the red color 0.19 is there, no? That is display. And this one is the knob. And here it is the place to keep the sample holder. And this is the, one second, I'll draw. And this is the filter to select the filter. This is the sample holder. This is knob and this is the display. So this exactly everything is inside the instrument. Once you prepare a series of solution, this is how you have to determine the estimate the copper percentage or amount of copper present in the prepared solution. How you have to prepare? First you have to prepare a series of solution. Take a blank. This is a different standard flask. Blank solution means without adding any copper, no copper amount here. Here after this, add 5 ml of copper, 10 ml of copper sulfate, 15 ml of copper sulfate, 20 ml of copper sulfate. Like this you have to add. After adding copper sulfate to this solution to different volumes, next you have to add ammonia. Next you have to add ammonia to the same standard flask. and next you have to add water up to the mark. This is the mark. You have to prepare the standard solution. Once after adding water, prepare the series of solution. First keep the blank in the sample holder and keep it in the instrument. This instrument you have to keep first this blank solution. Set the instrument to 0. Set the instrument to 0. So a plot in the x-axis concentration and in the y-axis absorbance. Blank solution 0 means you will get the dot here at a 0 origin. Next, prepare 5 ml solution. Take in the sample holder. Take in the sample holder, 5 ml solution, take in the sample holder, place it in the instrument. It gives some absorbent, it displays some absorbent in the meter and drop and point out here. That is one drop point. You will get the point here for the 5 ml. Similarly, for 10 ml, you will get here. 15 ml, you will get. 20 ml, you will get. 25 ml, you will get. And for like this, you will get. Join all the lines, join all the points, you get a straight line. This shows that as the concentration increases, the intensity of absorption also increases. So based on the calorimetry graph calculation, take down the unknown concentration and plot the graph. From this, you calculating how much volume is consumed and calculate how much amount of copper is present using calorimeter. This is how the calorimeter experiment is done using or to measure the solution. So what is the reaction is here? What is the reaction involved here? The reaction involved here is copper sulfate. When it is reacting with ammonia, it forms a cupramonium sulfate. This cupramonium sulfate, because of formation of cupramonium sulfate, it gives dark blue color. Why you get dark blue color? Because of the formation of cupramonium sulfate. This complex forming, because of the cupramonium sulfate complex, you get dark color. This dark blue color increases as the volume, as the amount of copper increases in the each standard flask. So this is the instrumentation part about this part. What is the filter? The filter wavelength you are selecting is 620 nanometer for the colorimetric experiment. So this is about colorimetry. The next is conductometry. So is there any doubt here you wanted to clear? Students? Shall I go to conductometry and potentiometry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is conductometry and potentiometer. I think you have done in the regular practical classes, right? Both conductometric experiment also you have done, potentiometry also you have done. You have seen the instrument, how it is been done. So we have to see only its a theoretical part. So this exactly the potentiometer looks like this, conductometer looks like this, correct? No, conductivity cell and here also potentiometer, you use 2 electrode to measure the potential developed in the ionic solution. So first one we will see conductivity. The conductivity meter, number of ions present in the solution, number of ions, what is the conductivity, what is the theory behind here is, what is the main aim of the experimentation part is, we are to determine number of charge carried by the ions, charge carried by the ions. It is defined as the determination of measurement of electrical conductance of electrolyte solution by means of conductometer. By using conductivity meter, you are measuring how much ions are conducting, how these ions are conducting in the ionic solution. So the next, how we will see the instrument, the principle behind this. The principle behind this is, see, this is the 2 platinum chips which is present in the conductivity cell. One second. This is the platinum chips which is kept exactly at 1 centimeter wavelength apart, 1 centimeter apart. and square feet centimeter, measured by using whatever the ions are conducting between these two chips only we are measuring. Between these two chips only we are measuring. So according to the Ohm's law, the principle behind this experiment is Ohm's law. What is the Ohm's law? It is given by V is equal to IR. R is the resistance, V is the potential, I is the current. R is the resistance, V is the potential, I is the current. So V is potential is directly equal to the current developed or current produced here, and also resistance, which is equal to, and equal to potential developed in the ionic solution. So when it comes to the Ohm's law and the conductivity, the specific conductance, C is the current, C is the velocity of light, and this is equal to I by R. I is the current, R is the resistance. So I by A is the dimension of the electrode. This is the dimension of the electrode. P is the constant called as specific resistance. This is called as specific resistance. So whatever the resistance, whatever the ions are conducting specifically between these two electrodes, between these two chips, that is being measured as a specific conductance. So this is the principle behind conductometric experiment. That is the Ohm's law is the behind the conductometric experiment. If you look at the instrumentation, you have seen this electrode, right? We have shown you in the practical class this electrode, this cell, we usually call it as cell. It consisting of platinized platinum foil, platinum chips or a platinum foil, or a wire glass support at a distance is between them is 1 centimeter is equal to 1, and the amount of solution in platinum between distance between the plates is equal to area of cross section of the plates I and A are maintained at a constant ratio of I by A is the constant. Cell constant is I by A. What you are measuring is cell constant. Based on the cell constant, you are measuring how ions are conducting. How ions are conducting. If you look at the instrumentation, how it works. Here, colored solution can be titrated. Accuracy high compared to the conventional method is high. Method is also accurate and dilute solution. It can be used for very weak acids and the bases. So this is actually you have done this experiment in the practical, right? So sorry. So the conductivity cell, how it works means conductivity cell, you have to dip inside the beaker where whose ions have to be measured. Once it is dipped inside, and then all these to be connected, conductivity meter, the electrodes are, that conductivity cell is connected to the conductivity meter. As it is connected, once it is switched on, the conductance, whatever the developed in the ions, it is controlled and measured by this conductivity cell and displays in the meter. That's all it is working part. Once it is been displayed, you have to plot the graph. Plot the graph means volume of NaOH consumed versus conductance. You have three cases. Three cases means one is HCl versus NaOH. Second case is weak acid, that is acetic acid versus NaOH. And in case of HCl versus mixture of acids, this is mixture of acids versus weak volume of NaOH. In three cases, you have to measure the conductance. But in the practical, you have done only this experiment. You have not done these two, right? I'll just explain you. Here, HCl is a strong acid, NaOH is a strong base. Strong acid versus strong base, what happens? As you keep on adding the NaOH solution to the acid, what happens? HCl, whatever the ions are present, the H plus ions of HCl, H plus ions of HCl, initially it shows high conductance and slowly it decreases as you keep on adding NaOH. Once it reaches to the maximum neutral, it undergoes maximum neutralized. Then what it does, then on addition, upon addition of NaOH further, it increases its conductance because of strong base. So strong acid, initially it shows maximum conductance, slowly it decreases, then again it decreases. again it increases. Only we get only one equivalence point. So what is the reaction here? HCl plus NaOH, it gives NaCl and H2O. So equivalence point is usually gives neutralization point of how H plus ions of HCl is neutralizing with OH minus ions of strong base. If you replace this strong acid HCl with HCl, in the place of HCl, if you replace it with acetic acid, if you replace with acetic acid, what happens? Acetic acid is a weak acid. So here, the H plus ions of acetic acid, that is weak acid, first it shows less conductance. Because of less conductance, it shows less conductance here. Slowly, when you keep on adding NaOH, upon adding NaOH, it increases the conductance because of alkaline nature of OH minus ions of NaOH. Strong base, it increases. So here also it gives neutralization point. So first initially it shows decrease less conductance, slowly it increases. So we have seen in both the cases, first case in strong acid, second case in weak acid. Now we mix together. Now we will mix strong acid and also we will mix with the weak acid. What is next compound is HCl is a strong acid, acetic acid is a weak acid. Mix these two, it becomes an acid mixture and titrate against the strong acid. What is a strong base? That is NaOH is the strong base. The volume of NaOH is up. First it shows because of H plus ion. First it shows maximum conductance. Slowly it decreases. Then you can see increase in the conductance because of neutralization increases by the HCl ions. Then upon increase, upon adding further, if you add further NaOH, it increases the solution. You can see steep increase in the conductance. So you get two equivalence point. One is for HCl, strong acid. Another equivalence point for weak acid, that is ECH3COOH. The reaction between these two is HCl. First, strong acid react with NaOH to give NaCl. Next, as a weak acid, CH3COOH react with NaOH to give CH3COO, Na and H2O. So this is how conductivity can be, or conductance of the ions can be measured. So later we have to plot. I think all of you have plotted this experiment, right? How many of you plotted this graph? Almost everyone have done this conductivity experiment and plotted the graph and you calculated, right? So we have added 0.5 and you have tabulated the volume and the whatever the points you have got, you tabulated, and this is the graph sheet, and you have got the volume 1 V1 for HCl and V2 for what is that, acetic acid, correct? So this is the graphical representation to find out the conductance of the ions. This is how we are going to use it. The next is potentiometer. Connectivity is understood? Any doubt you can ask, or any clarification is required, I'll help you out. Students? Are you there or not?
Yes, ma'am, here only.
Here only, then respond. You want any clarification or what? Not required.
Not required, ma'am.
No, not required.
Why not required? Are you really understanding? Or if you want, I'll repeat.
No, ma'am, we did it that.
Okay. Shall I go to the next experiment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next is potentiometer, which is already we studied in the first module, right? First chapter, Nernst equation, determining the potential developed by the redox reactions, right? Based on the redox reaction, how metal ionic solutions develop the potential. If you want to measure the potential developed in metal ionic solution, we use as a base as a Nernst equation. What is Nernst equation? E is equal to E naught plus RT by NF ln of ln of molar concentration of Mn plus. So this is the Nernst equation. The basic principle behind the potentiometer is Nernst equation to find out the potential developed in the electrode. So you want here is you want a salt bridge to move for the movement of electrodes. For the movement of electrons, you need a reference electrode, usually silver chloride electrode or a any electrode, and you need a indicator electrode, platinum electrode, to measure the potential developed in the solution. And you need a stirrer, continuously stirrer. Usually we have used air blower for continuous stirring, and we use a potentiometer to measure the potential developed. So these are the requirements, basic components we require to measure the potential. What we require indicator electrode, we require reference electrode, we require salt bridge, potentiometer, and a stirrer or an air blower, anything for a continuous stirring. So here, once what we are doing, take the beaker, whatever the analyte which you have to measure the potential, take that solution in the beaker. Usually we have taken 25 ml of FAS into the beaker, added one test tube of H2SO4 and kept here in the beaker and immersed the two electrodes. Remember, one platinum electrode and a calomel electrode we immersed here. One acts as a reference electrode, another one acts as a indicator electrode. Then in the burette we have mixed with potassium dichromate. Orange color solution you have taken in the burette, right? First you added, as soon as you immerse the electrode, instrument shows some potential that you are noted down. After that, you keep on adding 0.5 ml you have added, it displays some potential that you are noted down, right? So once you noted down the potential, once you noted down the potential, del E by del V, the potential when you plotted, this is the concentration or a volume of potassium dichromate you have added, x-axis, and del E by del V in the y-axis. When you plot the graph, you will get inverted U-shaped parabolic inverted U-shaped graph. And this where it shows maximum potential, that jump you will get, that jump you are tabulating and you are marking in the graph as a equivalence pointer where it shows maximum potential. This is how the potentiometer works, or a potentiometer. The theory behind this potentiometric experiment is basically Nernst equation. So, but in the practical classes, we have done with the redox titration, that is FAS versus potassium dichromate solution. Understood? This potentiometer you have done in the class, no? Practical class, remembered or not? You have tabulated, you have marked the graph also. Remembered or not remembered? Answer your attendance call. I'll see in the next class. I'll take up next topics. 63.
Present, ma'am.
64.
Present, ma'am.
65. 66. 67.
Present, ma'am.
68. 69. 68 absent. Sixty-eight. 68. 69. 69. 70. Students. 71.
Present, ma'am.
72.
Present, ma'am.
73.
Present, ma'am.
74.
Present, ma'am.
75,
Present, ma'am.
76,
Present, ma'am.
77,
Present, ma'am.
78,
Present, ma'am.
79,
Present, ma'am.
79, 80, 81, 82,
Present, ma'am.
83,
Present, ma'am.
84,
Present, ma'am.
85, 86,
Present, ma'am.
87,
Present, ma'am.
88, 89, 90, 91,
Present, ma'am.
92, 93,
Present, ma'am.
94, 94,
Present, ma'am.
95, 96,
Present, ma'am.
97, 98, 99, 100,
Present, ma'am.
101, 102,
Present, ma'am.
103, 104, 105,
Present, ma'am.
106,
Present, ma'am.
7,
Present, ma'am.
108,
Present, ma'am.
109,
Present, ma'am.
110,
Present, ma'am.
107,
103 is present, ma'am. Ma'am, network issue.
111, 112,
Present, ma'am.
113, 114, 115,
Present, ma'am.
116, 117, 118,
Present, ma'am.
119,
Present, ma'am.
120, 121,
Present, ma'am.
122,
Present, ma'am.
123. Yeah. Okay, I will give you an assignment today. By end of the day, I will post in the MS team. Write, keep on writing. I'll give for both fifth module and fourth module questions. Start writing, and when I before the IA, you have to submit. Clear? Before the IA, maybe I'll give you 14th. I'll give you the time to submit. 14th or 13th, I'll give you. 13th, I'll give you the time to submit the assignment both. Okay?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, this is Nikhil, USN 103, ma'am. Due to
Okay.
network.
Okay. Is that okay, students? So assignment, complete the assignment and submit before IA, that is on 13th. Okay. So read the same questions for your IA also, third IA also.